All right. I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of How I Came to the Truth. Today we have Sister Tanya from Israel Church of Jesus in Atlanta. First of all, I'd like to say good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. And also, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out to share your story of how you came into the truth. But before I get started, I always like to open up and give the guests an opportunity to introduce themselves, and tell the people that may be watching a little bit about yourself.
I am LaTanya Stewart, Sister Tanya, Brother Anthony's wife, Atlanta's baptizer.
Yes, yes.
I've been here for, this makes 6 years for us.
6 years?
It's 6 years.
Wow, where's the time going?
I know.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. From Chicago, originally, born there, and been in Atlanta for, we just made 9 years.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you any kids?
We have, I have 4, and Anthony has 3, so
okay,
total of 7.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
They're
beautiful.
all adults.
Wow.
Yeah, so no babies, but
yeah, that's good because you get older, man, and you get to sit back and see your fruit running around, and
right.
then you see them raising kids, and
Yeah,
you
we
can
have
kind of.
14 grandchildren.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm behind.
Get with the program.
Well, that's definitely good to know. And I think you say you're from Chicago, right?
Yes.
So being from Chicago, how did you end up in Atlanta? I think Anthony told us a little bit, but is that the...
Yeah, pretty much accurate. We didn't grow up together, so to speak, because he was older, but we knew each other from the neighborhood, from school. He was probably, he's 3 years older than me, so he was in the older crowd, but we knew each other, grew up in the same city, the south suburbs of Chicago, so we never, had any interactions like that while we were growing up, but probably 2008, that's when we came together and we, started dating and married in 2010.
Is that right?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I think we have family down here, his sister, my sister, aunts and other relatives. So we would always come down here to visit.
Okay.
So, things happen with the job market. So it was a good time for us to relocate because we always said, if we could, this would be the place that we would relocate. So
right.
It was an opportunity then.
And that was that was well, you guys were doing a lot of traveling back and forth between
multiple
Chicago
times a year.
Coming to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is that right? So you kind of fell in love with it?
Yeah, we did.
Is that right?
We did. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people do. Do you regret being here?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I wouldn't change it.
Oh,
Would
well.
not change it at all. I think had we not had the opportunity to be here, I think our lives would be so much different.
Right.
On another platform. So
right.
I think this was the best option for us.
Well, I think a lot of people feel the same way. So Atlanta is definitely because originally I didn't come from Atlanta either.
Right.
So I saw Atlanta, came here, and it's definitely been a blessing. So I definitely understand. So coming up, big family.
6 children. I'm the youngest of 6.
Oh, so 6 of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had 3 sisters, 2 brothers. So I was am the baby. I was the oops baby actually. So.
Really?
Yeah. They hadn't planned on having 6 children, but
right.
I'm here anyway.
Right.
In spite of their plans.
So how was it growing up being a baby?
I was spoiled, just rotten. I was, to be honest. Daddy's he spoiled me. So.
Is that right?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you any time I got disciplined by him.
Well, you turned out pretty good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so I guess all the times you don't need a whooping,
Oh.
depending on the child.
Well,
right?
you should have told that to my mother. She would whoop me.
Really?
Yes, the old fashioned the stick off the tree. That's my.
Oh yeah, those
and
switches.
go out there and get the stick. Myself. I had to get it myself.
Well, it's like fire and ice, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, but I was spoiled. But I think I was a good child. But,
Well, that's good. But what about your siblings? Like, were y'all tight coming up? Especially being in Chicago, like, That's more city-like, right?
We were in the suburbs, so.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, so growing up, it was, we had an interracial neighborhood, integrated, that's the word.
Integrated, right.
Integrated neighborhood, so crime was low, businesses, we had a mall in the city, so, I mean, it was nice. I mean, as we got older, people started, the Chicago people started moving in. Well, they were kicking people out of the projects and giving them Section 8, so they moved to the suburbs, so that just ruined our neighborhoods. Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of like what they did over, in several other cities. The same thing, moved people out to the suburbs.
And then they built in those areas, they would tear down the projects and put up like $500,000 homes and townhomes because they were close to the lake.
Oh.
So that was prime area but it wasn't for us though.
Right, understood. Yeah, that's called gentrification.
Yep.
Yeah. And you see a lot of that going on down this way as well. But, speaking of that, did you, was it pretty good coming up in Chicago around that time?
It was good.
At a young age?
It was good. I think, like I said, it was low crime. You could stay outside, just had to come in the house with the street lights. Knew everybody in the neighborhood, knew the parents. The parents knew the kids. And,
right.
If we were out of order, it was up to the neighborhood to, get us in order. It wasn't,
So it's like it takes a village to raise a child.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good because that was I like to call that a solid foundation. Compared to how they come up nowadays.
Right. And I had 2-parent homes, so it was. It was good. That that's not common now. So
right.
Yes.
Right. Well, coming from that 2-parent home, being in a black family, the stigma is, or the I guess the stereotype is that we all go to church, right?
Yeah.
And we all go to church. We mainly looked at as sanctified. You know what I'm saying? Holy rollers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I see that you tried to become active in the church, but like you said, didn't fit in.
Right.
But were you the type of were you all like the type of family that did at least go all the time?
Like my mother. So my father, church was not him. He didn't do church at all. I mean, he would, buy clothes. He would, definitely on Easter, he made sure we had the Easter outfit, all that stuff, all the whatever we needed. But he didn't go to church. My mother did.
Wow.
So, and because I was the youngest, I would always go with her. The older kids, they didn't have to go.
Right.
They went up to a certain point, probably middle school or so, and I think that's probably when I stopped as well.
Oh, so you was able to stop?
Well, yeah.
No, I'm saying y'all had a choice. It wasn't like beat down you.
Oh no, it wasn't that. But
that's good.
Just going with her, it was, I guess that was just something that I thought I was supposed to do. So.
Well, I guess that would lead me actually to the format, how I came into the truth.
Okay.
And so just considering, having someone in the household that would be, consistent with going to church, even though it might not, I know it wasn't, what we experience now.
Right.
However, you still have traditions put inside of you.
Right.
It's a lot of people that go to church on Easter, have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
No idea why they go to church on Saturday, no idea why they celebrate Christmas. But because of tradition in the house, it's like something, automatically that has to happen, right?
Right.
So coming up, with that kind of background, not so steeped into tradition or religion, still, how was it? Was it a hard transition from that to accept this new way of life called the truth?
It wasn't a hard transition, but it took a lot of thought about it. The whys, and that's just me. And I'm always asking the why. Like when my husband brought it to me, I listened, but I will say, the first thing that he brought to me, I was like, absolutely not. That was whatever the men sit on one side, women on the other side, that
okay.
whatever that was, and the
oh, he told you about that?
Oh yeah.
He came home and told.
Oh yeah, he told me because he left early. He said he left early because he was like, this is not that. So and he was telling me about it, and then he showed me a video of the people on the corner screaming and all that stuff. I'm like, what? You better get out of here with that. So when it wasn't until he found and got the right information that I was able to listen. He had started listening to Bowie and Elijah. So I was like, okay, this is, I can understand because their teaching is okay, but the other stuff what he initially brought in, I just couldn't go with that. So, but just listening and getting, I guess, the feel that they were teaching, that caught my attention. Because teaching that's not common, in the church. So
well, that's I guess that's a good catch, because a lot of people in the churches usually look for the song and dance.
Yeah, and that's what I with growing up and going with my mother, we went to the revivals and this pastors anniversary and going to this church, they got the concert and visiting churches and so that was the thing, and visiting musicians and things like that. So yeah, that's what it was. It was the this person getting the Holy Ghost, and I mean I watched. It was a show, definitely. So
yeah, wow. Well, based on you guys coming into the truth 6 years ago, right? So I guess around 2015.
Yeah.
So from 2015, taking it back to I guess around the time you and Brother Anthony met, or even further back to when you left home. What was your walk like as far as searching for any word, or were you just going to church, or did you just stop church altogether?
Well, I went to church. So, and when I had my kids, I would take them to church, and I wanted to go to church. And like I said on my answers, I wanted to be in this committee or that committee, but it was always a push or it was always like forced. So it just didn't feel right to me. So I would just drop back and not be involved in it. But I always wanted to go to church. I've always read the Bible, didn't understand what I was reading, but I always read it, and I thought it was definitely something important and something that I needed to have in my life. So I always went to church. I will say that I was married prior to Anthony, and my first husband, he grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Whoa.
So I was exposed to that.
Wow.
I didn't, I would visit the hall. I would have people come to the house. They would do the studies on Saturday. They would come, but I never got baptized or, really like joined that, because I just didn't agree with what they were saying. I asked them, the ladies that would come in and study with me, I'm like, because they would always harp on that 144,000. And
that's the doctrine. That's the doctrine.
So I would say, so tell me where, point to it, show me what verse, what scripture that tells you that you have the possibility of being that, or you can only be one of the 144,000 if you're a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh, you thought to ask that question?
Yeah, they could never show me that.
Wow.
That you had to, you had to be a Jehovah's Witness to be considered to be in that 144,000.
That's definitely that doctrine.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think that's that question.
Yeah. I just thought it was odd. Like, what makes you so special? What? And they couldn't tell me. So.
Well, that's what they say. So you all, so coming from kind of seeing that a little bit, that didn't turn you off from the Bible.
No.
It just kind of kept you. You still kind of had that inclination that the Bible is important, some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Even though you didn't understand.
Right, kept reading. And one thing I will say about that, when I was exposed to the Jehovah's Witness, they have that New World Translation Bible. I had that, but it was just something about it. I'm like, this just doesn't sound right, because I could see, from reading, like growing up and, being in, the Baptist church and reading the King James. It was just different. So, you know, I was like this, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
It definitely reads a whole lot different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, just with that though, most people don't notice that type of stuff, and I guess if you're not asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just take anything laying down.
Right.
But when you're asking questions, you know, you always take everything with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's good. So so bringing you up to coming in the Word.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys are going to church, right? You and Brother Anthony, y'all going to church faithfully.
Right.
Not faithfully as far as the Word is concerned, but I'm saying like in the mindset of the world. You guys are going to church all the time?
Oh, before coming.
Yeah, before coming into the Word.
Yeah, when we got down here, we had actually stumbled on this pastor,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday church. My oldest son, was looking for a car, so he had this car advertised for sale. So we went to get this car for my son, and he happened to be a pastor. So we were talking, and he had invited us to church. So we had started going to his church in Woodstock.
Oh, that's how y'all started here.
Yeah. So
okay.
we were going faithfully, and we were, you know, members, and, you know, tithing and doing everything. And what's funny, around the time that we like decided to stop going, like Anthony had stopped maybe a month or so before I stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and we were invited to come to this meeting. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was after work. Like, come to this meeting. You know, very important. He didn't tell us what it was, but it turned out that he wanted us to sign up, get our credit ran, and help them get $1 million loan. I'm like, okay, so that just blew me all the way out the water. So
Really?
yeah, that was probably early, maybe late winter 2015, like January or so, because I think we started coming here in about, it was right before a feast.
Yeah, so, right around. Matter of fact, it might have been the first of the year, around that time, around the first Passover, right?
Yeah.
I think he brought me some Hennessy and cranberry juice.
I don't know.
You know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
That's amazing, because I say that because, you know, I just I can't remember who it was on a previous interview. You know, I guess the preacher was, you know, trying to gather money from the saints to build need $5 million.
Wow.
You know, just to hear this, you know, need $1 million. So he's gonna go into your account, or he's gonna go look at your credit, so you can get a loan to give to him.
Be on a loan and it wasn't just us. It was probably,
I mean,
maybe 3 other couples.
Right.
And
so why did they pick y'all out?
I guess we were married with jobs. I don't know. We were faithful tithers, so right. I guess, you know.
Yeah, that's like probably what they look at. Look at the tithe. Yeah, this person right here.
Right. You know. So we got called to this meeting, and we need $1 million loan because we want to get this land and build. He wanted to build a church, even though the church that we were going to, it was his. It's his. He owns a couple businesses, so it was his property. But he wanted to build $1 million church.
Wow.
So. Don't know how that went or worked out. I don't think it worked out at all, but
well, and clearly it didn't work out for him. But as far as you all are concerned,
exactly.
So, was that like a turning point for you? Now, I think you said Anthony might have left like a month or two ahead of time.
Yeah, it was about a month or so. When we had that meeting, I think that was probably it for Anthony. I think I went back maybe a couple more times. Yeah.
But you were kind of knew
this
is probably like the line drawn in the sand.
Yeah, because I'm like, why would you? The focus on, you know, the financial part, that was just a definite turnoff. So.
Okay, well, it's good you got out of that, first and foremost.
Yeah,
definitely a blessing. And also, I just want to bring attention to your shirt. That's a nice shirt, Hebrew Israelite Princess.
Oh,
that's a tight shirt.
Thank you. My husband bought it for me.
Is that right? Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's tight.
Thank you.
It says hip, y'all. That's what it says. So going from leaving that church, right? So was it like a quick process leaving the Sunday church, coming into the Word, or did you guys kind of like just kind of linger a little bit, try to find some answers, or was it not too long afterwards?
I wouldn't say it was too long after. During that time after Anthony left, that's when he started reaching out to, like going online and looking at stuff, and he reached out to Ozza, and then, got in touch with Elijah and ended up here. For me, I mean, when I stopped, I didn't initially, follow Anthony,
right?
Because I'm like probably a little heartbroken, like, okay, really,
Wow.
really, is that our worth and what,
Yeah,
it's
understandable.
So
yeah, that's how we were when we left. World Changes, same mentality. My wife had the same mentality. She was more so like just didn't want to have nothing to do with it no more.
Right.
And I think same with Anthony. I did the same thing with it got to be something. Got to be something.
Right.
So considering that, you not attaching yourself to it immediately. What made you say, okay, well, let me give this a try? Besides, and I know you watched it, but even you watching things online or things that your husband's bringing to you, mentally, you still have to, you still got to say, okay, I'll give this a try. What made you do that?
I think it was more so my husband. I think just because he latched on to it, like, and when he latched on, it was like he was like, this is it,
Oh, wow.
and just knowing him and my trust, for him, I just knew that, I just went on faith that, this got to be, really the truth, because, I just didn't think that he would, lead us to, any type of destruction. So that was a turning point, and, like, okay, let me listen some more. Let me hear what they're saying.
Right.
And then as I started listening, it's teaching. So, getting the understanding of the Bible and what it's really for and what it's talking about, that was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So
that's a blessing. That's
It
definitely
is.
a blessing, because it kind of feels like you just spinning your wheels.
Basically, yeah.
You look at the Bible, you go to these churches, you try to get understanding, and sometimes it kind of feels like you're a nuisance for even asking.
Right.
For even trying to get answers to the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just go to show that when the Lord say, seeking you shall find, knocking it shall be open. Like, that's definitely true, because you got to come out of your comfort zone. So making that change from leaving the Sunday church, something you were familiar with, your whole life.
Right.
What was the obstacles that you all faced, leaving that type of religion, coming into the Word? Because when you come into the Word, it changes everything.
Yeah, it does.
It breaks down the nucleus of the family, because we, especially in Black households, we like to base the nucleus on tradition.
Right.
On holidays, we come to see each other a lot, and everybody's so religious and stuff like that. And you even going to church. If you ain't been to church all year, on Easter you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
You're gonna go buy you a nice suit. You're gonna get you a nice dress. We're gonna be there because that's something that we look at as, bringing us together.
Right.
So now you're in the truth. You're getting ready to experience something completely different.
Right.
What obstacles did you guys face once you came into the Word?
Well, like you said, the family. I mean, that was first and foremost. It was, family not calling and inviting you over, and or having crab boils, and just the craziest thing. I have a sibling here, and that was a big thing. We would go over to their house and just have a good time.
Right.
So as letting them know, okay, so no eating pork, no eating the shellfish and all this other stuff. We can't do that, and we can't participate on stuff on Saturday. So it just seemed like it just came out more that oh, we having this thing on Saturday, and oh, we're doing this, and it just seemed like it was just like in our face. So
right,
it's like it was purposeful.
So the divide started.
Yeah, so we was always left out because we just weren't participating. So
right.
and it seemed like it was just obvious that they were doing it. So
right. Well, that's a part of it. It's definitely a part of the walk.
Right, and friends too. Some friends too. They plan things on certain days or on Saturday. I would say Friday night, Saturday, knowing that we're not going to be there. So.
What about working on Saturday? Did you get off of that, or?
I mean, I've always did a 9 to 5, or so I've never had to experience that.
That's good. You was already set up.
Yeah,
that's definitely good. Now, considering the word, the Bible, Genesis and Revelations, it's a pretty good book.
Yeah.
A very good book. #1 bestseller.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people use it for morals, doctrine, raising kids, trying to change your life, get in jam situations, go to jail. The Bible's there. So a very popular book, right?
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people read.
Right.
But also inside this book, this Bible, it also talks about the Lord's chosen people.
Yeah.
The Israelites.
Yeah.
Which are still in existence today, right?
Yes.
So coming from basically what we knew growing up as kids, not really knowing much about Israel. Once you came into the Word and saw in the Bible, same Bible that you might have grew up with, that this Bible was referring to, 90% of the Bible is talking about the Lord's people Israel, probably even more than that. But at the same time that it was referring to yourself.
Yeah.
And, your siblings and the African Americans and Negroes scattered throughout the world. How did you feel when you found out that Israel in the Bible was referring to those people?
I mean, of course, happy about that. That's me. But felt kind of bamboozled. Like all this time, this been us, and nobody's ever had to, took the time to explain that this is us, and that we are the chosen people. So, but yeah, definitely happy that, getting that understanding that that we are the children of Israel.
Right. Well, that's a blessing because without it, we really don't have a history.
No.
Without the Bible.
We've always been taught that, Jews is, the Jewish people, that those are the people.
Right.
But, to understand that they're, that's false. I'd never been directed to the scripture in Revelation to say, about, the people that's in.
Nobody ever saw that.
No,
right.
Nobody ever told me that.
Right.
Ever. So that's a blessing.
Well, now I saw something in your pre-interview questions, right?
Okay.
And it said that, one of your strengths was that you're able to get along with most people, right?
Yeah.
So how was that dealing with the word though? Like, especially knowing you Israel, you want to go tell these people that you grew up with, that you care about, friends and stuff like that. Well, how were you able to, I guess, deal with not being, getting along with everybody, because it's divisive.
Yeah. Well, I would say that, I was still, I'm going to respect people as, people as an individual. And, definitely everybody has that choice. That's God gave you that option to have choice. So you can choose what you want. But, I will, say that I still get along with most people. But what I will say and demand, you're going to respect me and, my choices. So, I won't disrespect you, and if that's what what you choose to do. But I will say what I know and what I can express to give you more information about what you should be doing. But definitely not going to force anything down anybody's throat. But,
right. So you kind of let it come to you.
Right.
And that's a wise way to do it, because a lot of times, especially men, will we just want to beat across your head. We be so happy. We think that everybody gonna, take it, gonna receive it and stuff. Right. And we end up doing a lot of damage.
I have to tell my husband, like, calm down, because he's at work with the Bible and talking to people. I'm like, they gonna call HR on you. You better.
Yeah, they will.
Down. Yeah, because
they will.
Yeah, I tell them.
Yeah, they will.
Just calm down.
That's like another brother I interviewed a few weeks ago, Brother Derek, and he said that he was telling everybody at the job, "Hey man, we Israel." Telling somebody else, "We Israel," but don't say nothing. And next thing you know, he looked up and everybody was talking about him. Because he had told everybody at the job, he's telling each individual one by one that, hey, we Israel. And the next thing you know, he had told the whole job, and all them looking at him like he crazy now. You know, so it's just, that's a good way, a good approach. Just like let it come to you.
Right.
Because it just seems like, you know, hindsight 2020, it's like you win a lot more people by them watching your actions.
Right. You know, at my job, I had a class where I was training some people, and they were asking me, well, why don't you eat this, or why don't you do this, or why, you know, they were asking me questions, and I think one of the guys asked about the church, and I told him about, you know, where I go to church, and, you know, on Saturday, and he just started asking questions. So he knows about Hebrew Israelites, but he's from the East Coast, or from New York, so he knows about the other
radical,
those, and the whatever organization that has the comforter.
Oh, I mean,
so I said that's completely not what I'm talking about. So, but he still kept asking questions. So that was the way I let him come to me asking questions. So it wasn't anything that I pushed on him. So
yeah, that's definitely a wise way. Yeah, leave it open. Yeah. Well, I asked you about Israel, but I didn't ask you specifically. Finding out you're Israel, how did it help you read the Bible? Like now, when you look at the Bible, how do you proceed to get understanding, as opposed to not having understanding all these other years?
Right. Well, because I mean, the Bible is talking about me, and it's the Lord talking to me. So before it was just words. So now that I know that it's a book for me, about me, you know, in that direction for me. So that gives me the I guess the understanding to know that you know, this is my book.
Right. So right. Well, that's definitely a blessing, because it makes so much more sense now.
Yeah, it does.
Especially when you like you said, you know, we didn't see anything about Revelation 2, Revelation 3 and 9. We didn't see all that. You know, we, for the most part, when I say we, I just mean, I guess, our generation, because we were the last generation to actually get indoctrinated with church. You know, our children coming up, we kind of broke them away from it. You know, grace was in the picture by the time we got fully grown. So we were the ones that kind of got the brunt of the grace, also the fire and brimstone, that type of stuff. We got all that. Right. The generation now didn't really see that, and we definitely didn't know anything about Israel. No. You know, we didn't know nothing. We thought that the people that call themselves Jews, we thought those were the Israelites. Right. So looking at the Bible, I could never, you know, tie anything to myself. Right. You know, so
it was like, what was the benefit? Really?
Yeah.
Like, why am I reading? We weren't taught that it was for us. So.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Now you can navigate through the Bible and you see yourself, your forefathers, all through the book, and it makes so much more sense now.
It does.
Yeah.
And it explains why we are where we are, and you know, that salvation that does exist. You know, if we continue to read and, you know, follow the commandments and the statutes.
Right. So. Yeah, it's definitely there. Makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah. So how has it impacted your life since you came into the Word, since you started dealing with the truth? How has it impacted you as a person overall? Family, wife, co-worker, daughter, you know, mother, how has it changed you?
I think it gave me a lot more patience, you know, a lot more, I guess, the knowledge to know that, you know, you can't fly off the handle about everything. You can't control things, and, you know, just being more, I guess, more calm about and I guess accepting that, you know, life is what it is, and you know, you can't change certain things, and, you know, people are going to be the way they are. So I guess maybe just more accepting of, you know, the way my life is. But I think, you know, coming into the truth, just a whole different, I think, demeanor about myself. You know, more Before, I think we were more concerned with party and being, the it couple and, just things like that. And now, if I see you, I see you. So, it's just a different, I just have a better or a different outlook on life. Like, what things are important. So,
right. Right. Well, I guess you could see, just to add to your point, when you start realizing like it's something else coming after this.
Yeah.
So you don't really put too much stake in this, right? Besides serving God and trying to get yourself together for the next life,
right.
You really don't stress out as much.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
It's more laid back, and you try to do things like the Bible. It's a lot more peace.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more peace.
That's what it is. It's peaceful. It's not. I can see like the differences before. Things were not as calm and peaceful. As far as like it just seemed like we were not that we were like struggling or anything like financially or anything like that. It was just more of a process. It was right. Always something. Always an obstacle. But now in the truth, we take day by day, and
right.
It is what it is. So.
Well, you got the guideline now.
Yeah.
Like you have you got the manual. Like you said, it wasn't necessarily financial, but it's just like if you operate without the manual, it just makes things so much tougher.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah, right. So you have the manual, and it makes life so much easier. Everybody know their roles.
Yeah, right.
Everybody know their part, and even if you mess up on your role, all right, you still can go back to it and say, well, let me fix myself. You know what I'm saying? And it cause peace everywhere.
Right. In
the household, with your brothers and sisters outside of the household, when it come to work, around employees, whatever, it just makes it so much better because you have a standard on how you live now. And you can't just fly off the handle.
Right.
Can't just be mad at everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to stay calm. You got to work things out. And if that's what you got to do, that's kind of like what you want to attract.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it kind of brings a whole lot more peace.
Yeah.
But getting that peace, it don't automatically start off like that.
No.
It takes some time to get to that point. So knowing that, what advice would you have for somebody that's brand new in the Word? Considering everything that this person may encounter when it comes to this walk?
I would say, you got to stay prayerful. That's my number one thing. And that's, when I do talk to, people that's newer or, some of the sisters or whatever, you just got to stay prayerful and ask for direction. Right. You have to remain faithful. I told a young lady that, and it just kind of blew her mind when I said, you got to be faithful to God if you want him to be faithful to you. And it's like, you can't expect, certain things if you straddle the fence. You got to remain faithful. So right. That's another thing. Remain faithful and just read, ask questions, get understanding. Right. Don't try to do too much, in the door, but just ask questions.
Wow. That's a great answer, because you know that's usually what happens. We come in, I've heard several people say, and I've said it myself, you look at some of the teachers when you come dealing with the Word, and you see how knowledgeable they are, and a lot of times the mentality is coming from a student looking at the teacher. It's more so, man, I got a lot of work to do. I should have. Why ain't come into the Word a long time ago? You feel like you're so far behind, but just like what you said, like first, just be faithful, and don't try to do too much.
Right.
All that other stuff, it'll come in due time. So I think that's a great answer. Okay. But considering the way the world is now, right? Now you have all these different religions out here. It goes on and on. Episcopalian. Christianity, House of God, Saints in Christ, Church of Christ, Islam, people believe in Buddha, right? They even practice that type of stuff. Right. So with all these different religions that are floating around, What do you think it would do to the world if the world understood the Bible?
World understood the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
definitely would be flipped on side of, upside down, basically.
Right.
But I mean, in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, peace on earth, understanding people doing what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be paradise.
Yeah. You the first one that said that. Because that's what the Lord is bringing to this earth. Remember the guy said on the cross, remember me, and the Lord said, today you will be with me in paradise.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be. It won't be no, like it is now. It just seems like the world is going down fast.
Absolutely.
But even the Lord talks about when he returned, law going to go forth from Jerusalem. We're not going to have all this stuff going on.
Right.
A lot more peace. So,
yeah.
So what's your favorite book? Because I like to call this the hot seat question. And you probably had a chance. I don't know if Anthony told you. But I like to ask, and this is the last question. What's your favorite book and scripture? And tell us why.
So I did have a chance to
Look
think
it
about
up.
it. But no, I was going to say that once, growing up, I'd never had the Old Testament, ingrained in me. It was always New Testament. So I didn't know anything but New Testament. So Matthew, I would have said that. But I mean, as I think was exploring as an adult, and I started going into the Old Testament, I would say Psalms is my favorite book. I say Psalms 100. I like all the 1 through 5. But, I'd say 5 is the actual verse. The favorite, and it touches on being thankful. All the things that I've been through in my life, where God kept me, where I didn't have to be here.
Right.
So definitely thankful. So I'd say that's why that's my favorite.
Right. Well, that's definitely good. That's definitely good. You can never go wrong with giving the Lord praise.
Yeah.
Right. And Psalms is definitely a good book. So, with that being said, do you have anything any parting words you want to say? You're the first one I open that up to.
I would just like to say, I'm grateful and blessed that I did find the truth, and I'm happy where my family is in the Word, and I just look forward to when the Lord comes.
Right. And praise God for that.
Yes.
And Sister Tanya, I definitely seen you guys, you and Brother Anthony, y'all faithful dealing with the Word, pushing through. Just keep on pushing through to the end. We almost there. And Lord willing, I get to interview you, in the future once again. And I'd like to thank you personally for coming by to interview today and sharing your story with how I came in the truth.
You're welcome.
Thank you.